So there was like a variety of responses.
What did they like the podcast?
Some of them did. There was a lot of like, can you believe how cringy it is that a 40-year-old stalked us for 2 months in our Discord? Which
They related to me.
fair enough. There were a couple of people who were legitimately mad.
And what they were just mad because they felt exposed?
Yeah, this person was like, "You think we should shut him down?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a little scary."
Yeah.
And then Maxime, one of the ringleaders to hacker group I was watching, says, "The podcast guy? No, why would we care?" And then Maxime is like, "There's legit nothing bad in the podcast. Like, there's nothing bad about us. Like, why would we go after him?"
That's really well adjusted.
Yeah, I agree.
What a weird little cabal.
But a couple weeks after the episode came out, I got an email from Michael Dezell,
Security expert.
security expert from the episode.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, so I just wanted to let you know that your social security number was bought on the internet." And I was like, "How could you possibly know that someone bought my social security number?"
Do you have like an alert on it?
So it's actually pretty fascinating. There's a website, which I'm not going to name here because no one should ever go to it. But it's a place where you can buy social security numbers and personal information about people from various leaks. And basically, the way the site works is all of the social security numbers are hidden, and you have to search for names and pay for the name. It can be as cheap as like $1.80 to get someone.
That's how much does Social Security cost?
Yeah, and once someone buys your social security number, it appears on a public list on that website that anyone can see. He has a bot crawling that list for my social security number. And once it became public, that means someone bought it.
Not great.
Not awesome. And I was thinking, like, what could they do with my social security number?
They could take the SATs for you.
There's no way they could do worse than that. But I was thinking, like, what could they do? And I was like, they can't start a new line of credit because I've frozen my credit. But they can, if they know my phone number, impersonate me to my phone company.
Right.
So, just to be safe, I told my phone company that no one can transfer a phone on my account unless they go into the store. And I hope that that works. I guess we'll see. Quick PSA, after this episode, a lot of people sent in...
Continue straight for 10 minutes to Smart Connect Interchange on ramp.
Here are 2 easy things you can do. 1, get a password manager like LastPass or Dashlane. Sorry that we say that in every episode, but you really need one. That's why we do it. And 2, download an app called Google Authenticator.
Continue straight for 20 minutes to E1, North Luzon Expressway South.
Also, just, don't bother hackers.
And now, number 127 and number 128. The Crime Machine.
So, you remember Crime Machine was about?
Crime Machine was about a guy named Jack Maple who essentially invented the... I guess we'll see. Quick PSA, after this episode, a lot of people sent in emails asking what they should do to be more secure online. Here are 2 easy things you can do. 1, get a password manager like LastPass or Dashlane. Sorry that we say that in every episode, but you really need one. That's why we do it. And 2, download an app called Google Authenticator, which is really just a much more secure way to do 2-factor authentication than getting a text sent to your phone. Also, just, don't bother hackers.
And now, number 127 and number 128. The Crime Machine.
So, you remember Crime Machine was about?
Crime Machine was about a guy named Jack Maple who essentially invented the sort of statistical analysis of crime in New York City, and then about how his invention, after he passed away, totally became misused as a way to make the NYPD look a lot better at stopping crime than it was.
Yeah, and part of what we were trying to do with the story was actually just understand Jack Maple, like the guy who built this, and like what he actually wanted. And so we spent a lot of time listening to these tape recordings of him talking to this journalist named Chris Mitchell. And you could just hear like Jack's weirdo crime brain, like talking about stuff like how the way he figured out where to put detectives in the city was by studying Napoleon's military strategies.
That's what we learned from Napoleon. He didn't think much of the admirals, right? He got fucked and survived them because of that. He didn't use the detective. So yeah. You really think I'm crazy? You do. You're a little surprised about what?
So the guy interviewing Jack in those tapes, Chris Mitchell, he recorded those tapes 20 years ago. Him and Jack actually became friends after that. And he emailed me when the story came out just to say that listening to the tapes again, it brought back a lot of memories for him.
It's funny that I have a memory of him being much more saintly than he comes across. Because at his core, he's such a good guy. Even the motherfucking stuff on the tapes was a surprise to me, because at the time I don't remember, but 20 years later or whatever, that all disappeared.
And he told me this story about, he was like, Jack was just really charming, and he could like sort of adapt his personality to the people around him in like a good way. And he said there was this one time where they were hanging out at Chris's house, and it was like holiday times,
and we sat in my apartment dining room a little bit, and my daughter, who was about 5, came in, and he immediately, instead of introducing himself as Jack Maple, introduced himself as one of Santa's elves. And she completely bought it. So we finished up our business, and we walked out, and Santa's elf had left his clock on the table. And he called me like 3 minutes later from the car saying, I left my gun there. Put it up on a high shelf.
That's perfect. So the reason I was psyched to talk to Chris is because, like, you remember in the piece it was like, Jack created the system to track crime, and for a while it really worked, and then eventually people started abusing the system, and actually it encouraged cops to not report crimes because they didn't want to get in trouble. And I never knew like how aware Jack was before he died that his system had gone off the rails. And Chris had emailed me after the story and been like, oh, I have the answer to that.
I mean, I know in 1998. And I mean, I think you can tell from the original piece that Jack was furious about anything that was unfair. So he had a plan that he was putting in place, and I'm not sure how many cities he was able to do it. Essentially, there would be people who would be doing undercover work, going and reporting crimes, acting out the idea that a crime had happened, and then that would mean that the people on top would be able to check to see if those crimes showed up.
So it was like an audit. Like you would have somebody pretend to be a victim, file a report, and then see what happened in the system.
Yeah, exactly. It was certainly part of his concept of relentless follow-up, that he knew the system couldn't just be put in place and that would be it. The people running it had to always be trying to make it better.
So he knew about the pitfall, and he had a plan at least to try to address it. And I liked that it was like, let's have a bunch of fake victims report fake crimes to catch cops that are doing their jobs. Like that just felt like a Jack Maple plan.
Like the guys who used to come to the gas station I worked at to see if I would card for cigarettes.
Exactly like the guys who used to come to the gas station that you used to work at to see if you would card for cigarettes. Did you ever get caught?
No, because I always carded for cigarettes.
What if somebody looked kind of like an old person?
I always carded for cigarettes because other people I'd worked with had gotten busted, and the deal was that my boss, Mr. Fox, who was a pretty chill dude, loved the Kinks, loved Public Image Limited, cool guy. He was like, sorry man, like, this ticket is yours, I'm not gonna deal with it.
You make the employees pay for the tickets?
Well, the tickets are specifically written to the employees because they're the ones who actually commit the
cigarette fraud?
Cigarette fraud.
Wow. And you never fell for it?
No, because I just had a blanket, always show me your ID rule.
Did people ever freak out?
One guy threw a phone book at me. Well, I worked midnight to 8, and like people would show up drunk and be like, I want a pack of candles or whatever. And I'd be like, I need to see your ID. And the person's like, I don't have my ID.
Did it hit?
Yeah, it hit me square in the face.
Pretty funny in the picture.
Then I did the coolest thing I could think to do. which was drop down the bulletproof glass and lock the door to the cage I was in and start swearing.
How'd that go over?
I felt really safe.
Okay, well that's my update.
Hey guys.
Hey Damiano, how's it going?
Good.
What are you doing here?
So we reached the portion of the show called Lightning Round. Nice. You guys remember Lightning Round?
We try to do a lot of updates real fast, and it's a competition for no reason.
Exactly. So normally it's the two of you guys competing against each other.
Yeah.
This year though, I want to add someone. I want to add producer Via Benin, and she's going to represent like the producers of Reply All.
Meaning what?
Meaning like she can give updates on any of the things that the producers worked on. So like anything I worked on, anything Shruti, who's out sick this week, worked on, Anna or Jessica.
Okay.
She can also update whatever she wants.
I hate this.
I love it.
All right.
I see. Here's some real host ego.
I just don't like that she can do whatever she wants. All right.
Via Benin.
Hi, Fia Bennett.
Fia's here with a bottle of whiskey that like a pirate would be scared of.
It's close to the
It's
size of her
huge.
body.
Oh.
I would like to have a shot before we do this.
Okay.
You're just getting pumped?
I'm stressed. This is stressful. It makes me anxious. I think that some whiskey would help.
Okay.
Maybe that's very unhealthy.
Whatever. Oh, I wouldn't leave you. Well, I do have a cold. Why would I do this to myself?
I mean, that's what like a hot toddy is.
It's
A hot toddy
is when you have a
with a cold.
When, all right, let me get that hot toddy. Pour it directly into my cold Diet Snapple.
Are you not gonna cheers me?
Rude.
We're enemies.
So rude.
Cheers. Wow, this really makes it taste like mushroom.
You guys are so gross.
I don't disagree with you.
Do you feel readier?
Okay, I feel two things right now.
Hammered.
I feel very nervous,
Really?
but I also think that I could win.
One of those was a feeling, one was more of a belief.
Okay,
What's the
that's
difference
fair.
between a feeling and a belief?
You don't know the difference between a feeling and a belief.
Can we strike that from the record?
Via, is this your version of like intimidation tactics before the match?
Yeah, you're like pro wrestling shit talking to be like, I feel nervous, but I believe I could win.
I have a follow-up question, which is...
What's
are
the
we
difference between a
going-
thought and a belief?
I already...
What's the difference between a promise and a wish?
I would like
What's the difference between a question and an answer?
What's the difference between a friend and an enemy?
I know what enemies are. Very familiar with.
Okay.
All right, guys. So the rules before we begin.
Yeah.
Normally we have a minute for lightning round. I'm gonna add 30 seconds, and we're gonna go into just a clockwise formation. Alex
I
is
think
sitting right in front of me. That's almost like I was just gonna say what that meant. Fucking dicks. All right, we're gonna go clockwise. So it's Alex, Fia, PJ. Also remember that I can and you have to listen to me. No, I don't really want to take questions.
Okay.
Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Okay. On your marks. Alex first. Get
Okay.
set. Go.
Okay, so Voyage into Pizzagate, the guy who, one of the people who was the founding people of, oh my god, one of the people who was, oh no!
Thinking.
First,
It's like watching someone trip in the
The
Olympics.
person who bought Pizzagate.com, which was used as a repository for all sorts of Pizzagate conspiracy theories, eventually denounced it and now uses it as a website to denounce the conspiracy theory.
That took 20 seconds?
Okay, Susan from the past two updates episode, the woman who
Susan
is
Bracken.
like, yeah, an owl watcher. Her dog, Frankie No Pants, he died this year, but she bought a house.
For her.
PJ,
That was a
PJ,
roller
go. PJ,
coaster.
go.
Who was it?
Sergeant Edwin Raymond from the Crime Machine episode. He had been up for a lieutenant promotion, and it seemed like the department was denying him. He just got it.
Alex.
Facebook is still not listening to you, no matter what you think. But there, some information, some documents leaked this year of which show that they were collecting text message and phone number information from people who have Android phones, and they were talking about how creepy it was and chose to do it anyway.
Alex,
So-
you're falling behind. You better.
Okay, Shruti still orders everything from Amazon, but she heard this horrific report on next day delivery, so she does 3 to 5 day delivery instead, and she says she still feels bad about it.
Okay, you remember that episode of The Prophet about Mexican elections?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the PRI, the ruling party, they finally lost an election. Obrador, the other guy, won.
Barry Crimmins, the comedian who ended up
In 1 kilometer, continue straight on E1, North Luzon Expressway South.
Should I go?
Giving you Fia, go. Fia, go.
Okay, I now have a password manager. Alex had to set the whole thing up for me, and he knows, like, my super password and could...
Watch out, construction on road ahead.
Told people not to buy Bitcoin, and that was crazy to buy Bitcoin. And I lost some money.
Matt Logelin from the episode about how his wife was appearing in ads is no longer seeing his wife in ads after they said they would take them down.
Callie Burke, the one who was gonna launch a rocket to Mars,
10 seconds.
did launch a rocket to Mars.
5 seconds.
They still haven't found the Phantom Caller. Incels are still being really terrible on the internet.
Okay, time. All right, deathmatch. PJ v Fia.
We get to kill each other out at the
Alex,
end?
Wait, what did I do wrong?
A lot.
ready, set, go.
A councilwoman from an area called San Juan Capistrano in her farewell speech said, "God bless America, God bless Q, God bless San Juan Capistrano."
Wait, so you're talking about like QAnon Q?
Yeah.
That is creepy. Logan Paul tased a rat for some reason after having like tearfully apologized for putting bad stuff on the internet.
The rat
And
was dead.
Alex, you're not in this round. And now he has a podcast.
Soapy Soap changed their name to the Mad Optimist.
I saw that.
30 seconds of extra time. Keep
one
going.
time.
Barry from Boy Wonder is making a quote book.
My dog.
Lizzie from Snapchat was on the Bite Back podcast after she donated to Bite Back, the nonprofit.
I'm thinking about doing more internet shopping for
the
Christmas
Upper West
stuff.
Side, which is the store on the Upper West Side that people were donating their breast milk to, closed.
I have nothing.
Okay, time.
Wow.
Okay, so official standings. Alex Goldman.
Yeah,
Continue straight on E1, North Luzon Expressway South.
Like,
I got a little.
there's not going to be a podium with 3 spots on it. You know what I mean?
Anna was much
It's
nicer.
like a year
when
where you just skip the bronze medal.
Yeah, there's just like one step, a high step, and then a slower step, and that's it. Cool. So you're watching them get their medals. PJ?
I'd be happy to just get silver
You
here.
did a pretty good job.
Thank you.
I thought you did
I'm
well,
proud
too.
of you. You get second place though, like clearly.
Yeah,
second
no,
place.
I had no illusions here.
Thea Bennon,
Yes, Damiano Marchetti.
you are this year's 2018 year-end extravaganza gold medalist. Congratulations.
In 200 meters, exit to 1, Ed Saw South Entry, K-Zone City.
This episode of Reply All is brought to you by DigitalOcean, a cloud platform built for developers and businesses. DigitalOcean makes running and scaling apps fast and simple. That's their mission, to simplify cloud.
Exit right to 1, Ed Saw South Entry, K-Zone City.
Build software. Try DigitalOcean for free. Get a $100 credit when you go to do.co/replyall. That's do.co/replyall.
This episode of Reply All is brought to you by Walmart Grocery Pickup.
Grocery shopping.
Exit right to 1, Ed Saw South Entry, K-Zone City.
First, you pick out your groceries online. Then, their personal shoppers get your order ready to load into your car when you get there. And it's like markets, grocery delivery will bring your groceries right to your home. It's giving you back time in your day. Alex, what would you do if there were 25 hours in a day?
I try and play more music.
Are you working on anything that you want to share? How can I make fun of a melody? It's the most simple, beautiful thing people create.
Right, ready?
In 200 meters, stay to the left to 1, Ed Saw South.
So you're just making music for like a sci-fi movie. What do you call that?
Song?
Yeah,
That doesn't mean.
25th hour.
It's not bad.
To get more time in your day, go to walmart.com/grocery and use the promo code GIMLET10 for $10 off your first order of $50 or more. Offer expires January 31st, 2019. That's walmart.com/grocery, promo code GIMLET10.
Next up, episode 119. No more safe harbor.
Okay, so this episode was about FOSTA-SESTA, these two laws that
Stay to the left to 1, Ed Saw South.
people sell sex online can get in way more trouble than they used to. And according to people who supported this law, the reason they wanted to pass it was because they were trying to stop pimps, like sex traffickers, people who were using the internet to force people to sell sex against their will. Like, their big target, like the website that they particularly hated, was this website called Backpage, which was basically just like the erotic encounters on Craigslist, but turned into its own website. Right. But like at the time, we talked to a bunch of sex workers and people who studied sex work.
In 1.1 kilometers, turn right on Canyon Road.
Like, all these people who have been using the internet to sell sex and actually protect themselves, a lot of those people are just going to be forced back onto the streets. In the original episode, I talked to this economist named Scott Cunningham who told me about it. Do you think people are going to die because of this law?
Yeah, I do actually. If they end up having to go back to the streets, if they end up having to work with clients that they were not able to check out before or screen in any way, they are gonna die. There's gonna be violence committed against them. There'll be no more blacklists. There'll be no more whitelists. There'll be no references. I mean, it's not even clear how what the new market's gonna look like, but I can't imagine that any of the safety infrastructure is gonna be there.
So it's been 8 months since we did that story, and I just wanted to see what had actually happened. So I called this person named Pike Long. She works with sex workers in San Francisco.
I am the deputy director of St. James Infirmary. We're the first and only in the nation that I'm aware of peer-based occupational health and safety clinic for sex workers and their partners.
So Pike said just on a neighborhood level in San Francisco, as soon as the law passed, they saw it. Like, they saw more of the people they worked with were in more trouble and needed more help. And she also said the other thing that sex workers and sex worker advocates had predicted, which was that the law would actually empower sex traffickers. She said that they saw that almost immediately too.
So, for example, somebody who maybe actually had gotten out of an abusive third-party situation started out having a pimp, or even if it wasn't abusive, but they didn't want a pimp taking a big cut of their money. Once they were able to get online and get their own business off the ground, they were working for themselves and keeping all of it.
In 300 meters, turn right.
Out of the woodwork, and we're like, hey, you need me now. How else are you going to find clients? How are you going to see these clients? Who's going to protect you, right? Suddenly, these folks needed protection again when they had been doing this fine on their own previously.
I guess we knew that this was going to be a thing that like rippled in all these different ways. It's just like interesting hearing all the ways it actually did.
Yeah. Oh, honey, I didn't even tell you. I was networking with all these international activists, and
Turn right on Canyon Road.
Backpage closed. You know, I guess I kind of had this naive, like, oh, well, workers in the U.S. are screwed. But no, Backpage was the #1 advertising venue for the entire world. There was like 120 countries where Backpage was the #1 platform. It was massive. So what we heard from a lot of people, everywhere from like Malaysia to Australia to Africa, like South Africa especially was there, Uganda was there. Like the same thing that we saw.
In 200 meters, turn left on Old Sampson Road.
Worldwide. The day Backpage went down, literally, I would say probably millions of people's lives were damaged instantaneously, like their ability to earn a living.
The other place this rippled out that sort of surprised me was that since FOSTA-SESTA passed, all the big platforms like Facebook, Reddit, Tumblr, like they have all now gotten so scared about being FOSTA-SESTA compliant that they've shut huge parts of their websites because they're worried that they could get caught allowing people to sell sex. Like Craigslist lost their personal sections. Tumblr just a few weeks ago, they said they were going to basically do a ban on essentially all adult content on their website, which with Tumblr you're just sort of like, oh, what will be left?
The entire website.
Turn left on Old Sampson Road.
Episode 122, the QAnon Code.
So we have a segment on our show called Yes, Yes, No, in which our boss, Alex Bloomberg, comes to us with things from the internet he doesn't understand, and we try to explain them to him. And we've had some wild ones this year. So we brought Alex Bloomberg back into the studio. Alex, hello.
Hello.
We brought you here because there have been a variety of developments from the yes knows that we have.
The yes knows, which became understandable. Then more things happen, and while you might think that you're a yes,
I got node.
the internet returns to its natural state.
In 200 meters, turn right on Antoinette.
Do you remember QAnon, Alex Bloomberg?
I do remember QAnon.
QAnon is a person or persons who have been posting on 4chan and 8chan for the past year. And their posts are super cryptic, but basically what they say is that a lot of very prominent politicians like the Obamas, the Clintons, are engaging in all of this insanely corrupt behavior, and Donald Trump is leading a clandestine campaign to have them all arrested.
Right.
So I spoke to Will Sommer from the Daily Beast, who has done a lot of reporting about QAnon, far-right conspiracy theories, and I just asked him, like, what has Q been posting and how have his followers been interpreting it? Has anything that Q predicted come true?
Turn right on Antoinette.
Predictions are so incredibly vague, and so they'll say, you know, like, something big's going to happen next week, and then, you know, Mueller will indict someone or something will happen, and then Q will say, see, I told you. I mean, the latest one I was seeing was Q was predicting a big red wave, you know, in the midterms, and that didn't materialize. But then, you know, there was an earthquake in Alaska, and now...
In 100 meters, turn left on MH Del Pilar.
I'm sorry. Wait, he can predict earthquakes too?
Well, you know, so if you get a little into it, you know, there's a lot of accusations that, you know, the deep state controls the weather and can cause earthquakes and stuff like that.
And then Will told me about this other thing.
Turn left on MH Del Pilar.
Which adds an entire new dimension to this, which is really surprising.
Okay.
This summer, Q stopped posting for a while, and no one could figure out where he was, or they were. Whoever posts this Q, people were worried that they'd been
renditioned.
In 500 meters, turn right on Roosevelt Avenue.
In their place, someone popped up and started posting similarly cryptic things. Let me read the first post by this person. It says, in 1909, we lost everything. My father caught on, first to the Bilderbergs, then he caught on to NASA.
NASA?
I think it's a typo. He demanded to know who the Greys were and why they were here. I assume that means aliens. They killed him. I strategically staged my own death, allied with the one person in this world whom I knew was honorable enough to trust.
In 300 meters, turn right.
It is signed R.
The letter after Q.
Good work, guys.
Whoa.
The photo attached to this is a photo of Donald Trump and John F. Kennedy Jr.
So they're saying John F. Kennedy Jr. faked his own death because of the aliens?
John F. Kennedy Jr. faked his own death, and the reason that he did that is because he was going to get whacked by the deep state so that they could make way for Hillary Clinton's political aspirations, and he is now posting these messages online under the pseudonym R.
That is a good twist.
Yeah.
I would never have thought that, like, the hero of the QAnon conspiracy revolutionary band is John F. Kennedy Jr., who's still alive. Didn't he die?
He died in a plane crash.
He died in a plane crash, right?
So people start seeing Q iconography everywhere related to the Kennedys. For example, take a look at this overhead view of the Eternal Flame, the gravesite of JFK.
I don't even need to do it. It's in a circle and it's a flame, so it's a Q. Oh no, the road is shaped. It's a circle that a road leads into. It doesn't even look like a Q though. It looks like a music note that's bent. Tell them that.
This is Alex Goldman for the Reply All podcast. Can we chat? Because this seems silly. So
I'm gonna need a little bit more proof.
Just like you can find real things in the world that do look like Qs. They're not even trying.
So the other thing that's happened related to JFK.
The other thing that's happened related to JFK.
People start posting pictures from Trump rallies and saying, take a look at this guy.
Turn right on Roosevelt Avenue.
This guy has been showing up at Trump rallies.
No one can know you're alive. You're gonna hide by going to Trump rallies.
This person, this JFK Jr. person, is named Vincent Fusca? Here's a picture of him.
Wait, which guy?
Both of those are the same guy.
In 200 meters, you will arrive at Blessed Veterinary Clinic.
He's like, he's a dude. He's got long hair and a scraggly beard.
If you think that doesn't look like him, just wait until you see this picture of Vincent Fusca's face, superimposed over JFK's face.
Oh my god, two people have never looked less similar. Donald Trump looks more like JFK Jr. than Vincent Fusca.
So suddenly, a bunch of people in the QAnon conspiracy galaxy start talking about him nonstop, like making YouTube videos that say like, "Is Vincent Fusca actually JFK Jr.?" Here.
We need to wake up.
You've arrived at your destination.
That's not Vincent Fusco or Fusco. That's JFK Jr. Mind you, it's been 19 years since we last saw him. But also, let's not underestimate the hair, the hat, the glasses, the beard, everything. It maybe possible facial reconstruction. Who knows?
And Vincent Fusca has been directly asked, like, "Hey, are you actually JFK Jr.?" And he hasn't either confirmed or denied it. But he does take pictures with Q believers all the time, and has kind of become like this fringe hero.
That's wild.
So I was like, well, I want to get in touch with Vincent Fusca.
Okay.
I found a person with his name living in Pittsburgh, which is supposedly where he lives, on LinkedIn, and I sent a LinkedIn. Guy, because this is the voicemail I got.
Hi, Alex. This is a person you LinkedIn messaged about a theory about JFK Jr. You said theory. Do you know what a theory is? A theory means something that might be true. You actually said theory when it came to this bullshit, fucking ridiculous story. I mean, I can't believe.
In 600 meters, turn left on Baylor.
So I'll give you this kind of interview here over the voicemail. Okay? Any fuckhead that thinks that this is fucking true should be pretty much locked up so that people like me who are intelligent, severely intelligent, can live in a better society. Yeah, you said theory. Okay? And that really pissed me off. That's your fucking interview. Don't ever fucking contact me again with some bullshit like this.
In 300 meters, turn left.
Next, episode number 126, Alex Jones Dramageddon.
Okay. We have another person in the studio now, the file producer Anna Foley.
Hey guys.
Hi. Hey, Anna.
If you remember, I came in to tell you about some drama that was going on in the beauty YouTube community.
Oh, I remember.
The YouTube community.
Yes, YouTube.
Yes.
So I have a small update for you. So do you remember I talked about this?
Turn left on Baylor.
Yeah. It was a fancy thing you do on your eyes. And you were bringing this up because you were just literally explaining like some of why you loved YouTube, and it was like just like tutorials.
I love YouTube because of the drama. I mean, I watched a ton of tutorials on cut creases because, like...
In 1.2 kilometers, turn left on 171 West Avenue.
And kind of replicated on my own, but like, a cut crease, I didn't even know where to start, so I had to watch a lot of tutorials. There are so many on there.
Hey guys, so today I created this super glam cut crease ombre makeup look.
So first thing I'm doing, of course, is priming my eyes.
I want to be using that rusty kind of shade into the crease, and I'm just putting that all over, making sure it's highly, highly pigmented.
Alright you guys, this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoy this fun yellow cut crease eye with top lashes, bottom lashes featuring.
So after watching literally hours of these tutorials, I am happy to report that I learned how to do a cut crease.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
There's something like this distinctly rewarding about learning something off the internet and then actually being able to do it. It feels very good.
Can I see a picture?
Sure.
It was really good.
Thank you.
Let me think. I was picturing something less subtle. Like, I don't know how else you describe it.
Yeah, it's just like a dark line right where the fold of your eye, and then it's just sort of like gets to graduate later out from there.
Mhm.
Like a sunrise.
Well, congratulations on learning the
Thank
thing.
you.
That was difficult.
Thank you. I was thinking though that it would be very cool if we could all leave 2018 being able to do a cut crease.
So, I beg your. So you want us to do cut crease?
Are you guys up to the challenge?
I think I could learn a cut crease.
Yeah?
I'll give it a shot.
So, I would like to give you all the weekend to
Practice?
practice with your supplies. Watch the video.
Are you gonna judge?
Yes. I think that we should all meet back here Monday morning, and everybody can come in their cut crease.
All right. See you guys Monday.
See you Monday.
All right, it's 5:42 a.m. I'm gonna cut.
In 300 meters, turn left on 171 West Avenue.
Take my glasses off so I can't see anything.
Okay. I feel so stressed out. This is so dumb. I'm taking the little brush guide and putting it in the thing that looks like a paint palette, which is a natural shadow palette. It looks like my face looks like when they try to cover graffiti and they just make it unclear.
Okay, I gotta watch the tutorial.
Turn left on 171 West Avenue.
Yeah. I am. I'm doing.
In 700 meters, turn right on 1 at Saw South.
All right. Here comes the concealer. I have no idea how much to put on of this stuff too.
Just that probably.
All right.
Okay. That is on a good line. I can see it.
Oh my god. Okay. I think that's everything. What do you think?
You're probably not gonna win this.
Good morning, Anna.
Good morning, Alex.
We are
In 300 meters, turn right.
sunglasses to obscure our makeup. Alex Bloomberg has his hat pulled down over his face, and we are ready to do our big reveal.
How did it go?
It's so hard.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really hard. It was so
Oh my god, it's so hard. It's like painting a painting on your face.
I know.
All right. Alex
Okay,
Bloomberg,
here we
take it
go.
away.
Ready?
Yep.
Dun, dun, dun. Should I take off I'm gonna take off my glasses.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, you look
What?
pretty good. Yeah, you look pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
So Alex Bloomberg kind of nailed the winged eyeliner.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
is,
Damn, son.
I bailed on that part. I tried to do it like 3 times and it was not happening.
and then like can you close your eyes really quick? You got the concealer. Like
Yeah.
you really put it in the right place. It's cutting your crease. You've got a little bit of glitter on the lid and a little bit of definition in the crease.
Okay.
It looks, it looks pretty good.
Oh,
There was a stumble in that it looked that made me a little suspicious.
No, I think it looks good. It looks insane.
Turn right on 1 at Saw South.
Which is that, like, I was really hoping to get the cool black line right above my eye, and I had the, like, pencil that you're supposed to draw it on with. This is very difficult, and I like the idea of having a wing, though. I want to have a wing. I want to have an eye wing. Give me them eye wings.
In 1.1 kilometers, exit to Edsaw South Service Road.
On. I got them eye wings. I got some eye wings. Yeah. What? What? Tip of my eyeliner broke off. What are you supposed to do about that? So I just kind of had to smear it on. I think that, like, actually what ended up happening is I just kind of it just kind of looks like kind of understated. Here.
That is kind of understated.
It is. It's very subtle.
I really tried. I did this for a half an hour, guys. I was caking stuff on there.
You just see it like a subtle, dark line extend towards the like end of your eyebrow.
Goldman, you look very subtle.
It also kind of looks like you wore mascara and a little bit of eyeliner, and then you jumped in a pool.
Okay.
You just forgot that you had makeup on, and then you went and had a great time splashing around.
This is what I will say. I feel like I could wear mascara every day. That shit's easy to put on, and it makes me look. It makes my eyes pop.
And then I would say Bloomberg is on the like more dramatic serving.
In 300 meters, exit right at Saw South Service Road.
So I think that's the right side. Okay, I didn't do a good job. I kept going wrong, and then I kept putting more on.
Exit right at Saw South Service Road.
Okay. So you got. I think you have the most glitter out of everyone.
That's a superlative.
Did you use eyeliner?
Yeah.
In 100 meters, make a U-turn on U-turn slot.
I could do the line.
So, do I have to rank you guys?
Yes.
Should I rank you guys?
I'm afraid
I think
so.
you should do third place first.
Okay. So I think just based on the assignment, which was a cut crease eye with like a little bit like a dark shadow and then a light shadow.
Make a U-turn on U-turn slot.
Alex Goldman. Just because subtlety is like an art in of itself, but a cut crease is not subtle.
I wasn't trying to be subtle. The point broke off my pencil.
All right.
Okay. I think if we're keeping with that criteria, and it's like, what are the elements of the cut crease?
You gotta have the line. You gotta have the Cleopatra line.
You gotta have the Cleopatra line.
Well, can I say the point broke off my pencil?
You could say it, but it would be a lie. You had all the tools. You just did a bad job.
I'm not gonna lose or lament this. I'm happy to have silver medal. It's great.
Your mascara is very nice.
Thank you.
And first place is Mr. Alex Bloomberg.
The beautiful Alex Bloomberg.
How does it feel?
It feels itchy. Can I take it off?
If you would like to see pictures of our beautiful makeup contest, we're going to put them in our newsletter, which is weekly. You can subscribe to it at replyall.limo. We'll also put them on our Instagram.
This episode of Reply All is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace makes it simple to set up an online store, publish a blog, announce an event, and a lot more. I set up a website called goforgripes.com where you, Reply All listeners, can submit your gripes about the world, and you never disappoint.
This is a gripe that I think a lot of people can relate to. It doesn't feel like a gripe because I think that it's life or death for some people, but I like this one.
I feel like you're setting these up like you're a radio DJ.
This is a deep gripe for everybody's feeling lonely tonight.
Are you ready?
Yeah. I need more money! And that's one of the world's oldest gripes.
Bring us your gripes, old and new. Send them to goforgripes.com, and if this has inspired you to make your very own gripe-based website, Squarespace can help. They offer free and secure hosting, and you never have to worry about upgrading or patching anything. For a free trial, go to squarespace.com, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code REPLY to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com, offer code REPLY.
This episode is brought to you by Merrill Lynch. Start investing for the life you want. With flexible tools and Merrill Lynch professional advice and guidance. And now they're sharing their insights in a brand new podcast series called Merrill Lynch Perspectives. Subscribe to Merrill Lynch Perspectives today and start learning how to navigate an ever-changing financial world. Investing in securities involves risks, and there is always the potential of losing money. Merrill Lynch makes available products and services offered by Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Finner, and Smith Incorporated, a broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, member SIPC.
Episode 82. Hello.
Okay, so back in 2016, we decided to take phone calls from listeners for 48 hours. And one of the calls we got was towards the end. It It was from this woman who, she was originally from India, but she was living in Basel, Switzerland. And the reason she called was because she just had her first kiss.
So I'm 24, and I kissed a guy for the first time like a month ago, maybe.
Congratulations. That's really exciting.
I agree. Then it was not nice. I did not like it. So now I'm wondering if before like how do I know I'm straight? I don't know that. So but whenever I have talked to my dad, especially in obtuse terms about this, he has he is very homophobic. So things are strained at home right now because I feel I cannot be honest about my stuff.
We talked for a really long time without really solving anything. Like, her dad was her best friend. She didn't want to lie to him, and she also just wanted the space to even, like, figure out if she was bisexual, and it was just very hard to solve. Anyway, that was 2 years ago.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
How's it going?
How's it going? It's going good. I did not expect to talk to you guys straight away.
Well, here we are.
Yes, it's nice to hear your voice.
So it's been 2 years since we talked?
Yes, yes, yes.
So what's happened since then?
A lot has happened since then. I gave things a lot of thought, and I decided, okay, maybe I cannot date women straight away, but I can try dating more men and seeing how I like that. And some of them went okay, and basically I found out at least that it was just one terrible kiss, and not all kisses have to be like that.
That's a relief. It's a great thing to find out.
Yes.
Wait, so now that you've kissed more people, was your first kiss the worst kiss that you've had, or is it just one of the less good ones and there were worse than that one?
I think it was one of the less good ones. I think it's I find like men like to dominate kisses, whereas I don't know, maybe it's too much detail.
You mean the thing where she's like, oh my god, your whole tongue's in my mouth for some reason?
Yeah, it's like, here's a mouth and let me just snog it, and not let people room to breathe. And I had so little experience that I could not say no to this, and I thought maybe this is just how people did it. And turns out, no, you can be more gentle about it. And about I mean, I feel reasonably confident that I am bisexual, but I'm also reasonably confident that I will never act on that side of me.
Really?
Yeah, because I gave a lot of thought to what you said, and I agree my relationship with my dad will never be that close again. But I have... No, it's okay, because I have like come to realize, I think, I don't know, over the last 2 years, I've started to realize like your parents are people too, and they are like, they make mistakes too.
Yeah.
And not everything has to match what you think. So I didn't have the courage to talk to my dad about this directly, but I did talk to my sister about this.
And how did she take it? How did she react?
He did not react very well to that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What kind of bad reaction?
In the sense that it was more like, okay, fine, even if you are bisexual, what will you do about it? You cannot act on this, because in our community, people don't do this. It's her words were basically like, just because you read about it, you now know that you have more options, and that's why you think like this. And I was like, okay, if a person from my own generation has reactions like this, what can I expect from older generations? I don't know if that's fair, because older generations can be progressive too, but I don't know, it just, I was very disappointed for a month or two, because I felt like she should have understood. And when and she did not. I was like, okay, so the chances of convincing everyone about this are very close to zero. Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Do you feel at peace with the idea of this? Like that this is sort of proscribed and like your family's important to you and this is a sacrifice you're willing to make? Like, do you feel okay about it?
Now, yes. It's okay. Yeah, I know now what I'm sacrificing, but what I'm getting to keep in return. So I'm okay with it. Yeah.
And maybe things will change over time. I feel like sometimes I've like made peace with stuff, and then later I'm like, actually, I'm gonna change it.
Like what?
I'm somebody where I have like a relationship with my parents where there's lots of things they don't want me to do. Like my mom worries a lot. This isn't the same scale of importance as your stuff, but she was like, it was very important to her that I never get a motorcycle. She was just like, I'll worry too much, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, I don't want to upset my mom or upset my relationship with my mom. And then after a couple decades of being alive, I was like, oh, wait, I could just not tell her. Which worked out great. And the other thing that was crazy about it was like, she came to visit me, and she was like, you know, every time my mom comes to visit, she starts messing with my apartment. She starts cleaning it and making it nicer than it is. And so she was doing that, and she came out of like my closet holding a motorcycle helmet.
Did she come out, was she like fuming?
She looked surprised and curious, and I think I could be misremembering this, but I think that I started to make up a story, and then I was like, oh, that's the motorcycle helmet for the motorcycle I have that I don't tell you about because you would freak out about it.
And how did she deal?
She wasn't not as bad as I thought. Like, I think there's something about, not that it always happens like this at all, but it was easier to be like, I'm doing this and I've been doing it for a couple of years, and then it would have been, if it was easier to get forgiveness than permission in that case. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but it taught me my strategy.
Right. Maybe I still need to do a bit more growing up, and by the time I reach 30, I can be like, I don't need permission anymore. It's easy to just, yeah.
It does just sound nice that it feels like you feel less anxiety, like you don't feel as much pain as you were feeling before.
Oh yeah. It's, I don't know how to explain it. I just feel more settled, and does it happen to you when your professional life is also in flux? Then it starts to impact everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and I was like at that point right there. Then this was also happening, but I was just finishing up my masters, and I was like, I don't know what to do, and everything feels and right. And then I started my PhD, and it's like, no, this is work I really enjoy, and I like doing it, and I am good at it. So that side of me is very happy. So it infects the rest, and I'm like, maybe it's okay if I take my own time, finding the right person. It's fine.
Totally. Right. Thank you for talking to us.
Thanks so much for talking.
No worries. Thank you for taking the time out to talk to me.
Can we check in again in like a year?
Of course.
Hello.
Hey, Tim.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great.
Good. I'm Tim. And,
Hi, Tim.
Tim, you don't need to introduce yourself to us. You edit the show.
Well, I think I guess what I'm suggesting is that not everybody who's listening has any idea who I am.
Not everybody understands that there's a Wizard of Oz like, behind the curtain pulling our strings like little marionettes.
Hi. So, okay. Anyway, I wanted to actually have the honor to co-introduce with you guys the last segment of our year-end extravaganza. And also, I feel like it, I don't know, for personal reasons, it really speaks to me this year, much more than, like, I would have possibly ever imagined.
Tim, just for, like, listener benefit, do you want to say, we're not currently in the same room, like, do you want to say where you are?
Right. So I'm in Berlin. I got here about 7 months ago. Where I am is kind of Kind of funny, I never would have expected to end up in this particular room. I work in a co-work space in this old, it's called an Altbau, which is like the German word for like old construction. So I show up at this space every day as everybody else is getting ready to go home because I'm working on, you know, New York hours.
New York time.
Literally nobody here. Lights are off. And then I go over to the back of the room where there's this door with this giant metal bar across it. And then I open the door and it goes into this like abandoned stairwell, a freezing abandoned stairwell. And then right there on the right there's this little door that goes into what was once a water closet or toilet.
It's like something a lot of people would call a toilet, but what you call your home.
Yeah, but it's really, I actually really love it. It's really, I don't know, I like tiny little secluded spaces.
Yeah.
And actually like at the moment I have to like, I take a blanket and I wrap it around my lower half because it's so fucking cold here. And like if I open this door here, well it's just totally dark. Hello? It just echoes down many floors. Yeah, so anyway, and then I come here and then I like turn on my computer and I actually really enjoy this thinking about the idea that like I'm here in this dark and cold little space. It feels like a little perch, and that like I like to think about the cables that are traveling like thousands of miles at the bottom of the ocean and how there's like billions of little sea creatures like running over these cables for us to connect to each other and then, you know, make our stories. I don't know if it's true, but
it is true. There are gigantic undersea cables. And they go right past that giant monster that makes the big bloop.
The big bloop?
You don't know about the big bloop?
No.
They're all these, what are people still in the ocean? Oceanographers.
Sure.
So they started hearing this thing from like a part of the ocean that is way too deep to explore.
Yeah.
They started hearing the sound on using like whatever sophisticated techniques they use to collect sound from the ocean floor, and they were like, we think it's an animal, but we've never heard anything like it, and it's insanely like it sounds like it's coming from something insanely big, and it's called the big bloop.
Because the sound itself is a big bloop?
Yeah.
Okay. Here it is. Do you hear the bloop?
I heard like the tummy rumbling.
It goes bloop bloop.
Yeah, it sounds like the sound a fish tank makes sometimes.
That's awesome.
So they've actually decided that this is probably not the sound of an undersea creature, but actually like ice shifting way under the ocean. But I prefer to believe that it is a giant, terrifying sea creature.
Man. Anyway, yeah. I mean, sorry to get all romantic about the
No,
cables.
actually, I feel like both of those things, both like the place where you work from and the place where the big bloop emanates from, they're like perfectly appropriate to unobtainium, right?
Exactly. So that's our last segment of the extravaganza. So a couple months ago, we put out a call to listeners just saying like, hey, send us your recordings from your most like remote, unexpected, could be lonely places, or maybe it's actually just like a really kind of a personal place where you are. And people sent us an insane number of recordings. And some of them are just stories, and then some of them are actually just sounds with no explanation, but that are in their own right really, really just satisfying. So that's what I'm gonna play for you guys then.
Cool. Thanks, Tim.
Cool. All right.
Hey Alex and PJ, this is Chris Prairie calling from the middle of the Cactus Eagle Ultra Marathon Trail Race, deep in the heart of the Texas Hill Country. Well, currently I'm on top of a ridge in the middle of this really rugged and beautiful terrain. It's about 1:30 in the morning. There's a very bright shining moon. Stars are out, not a cloud in the sky. Let you kind of listen to what I'm hearing, hear all the bugs and stuff making noise, and hearing my footsteps, and pretty much what I've been hearing for the last 18 hours or so.
I'm speaking to you from the epicenter of opioid addiction. I'm in central Ohio. It's dreary outside. My day off. And I know that by 2 or 3 o'clock, I'll start having brain zaps. And tomorrow morning, my legs will become weak and tired as I'm going up and down the stairs, and I'll just feel exhausted and annoyed at everything, like my bones are